PCOS and PCOD, would you say they are reversible?
Clinically, PCOS is not reversible, they say. But I am a living example that I've done it for myself. I have reversed PCOS for so many women. There are types of PCOS.
What made you take that leap?
I was bullied for being heavy, bullied for having PCOS. I just wanted to get rid of my weight. It's not always about calories in versus calories out. If you have insulin resistance, no matter how less you eat, you're still going to put on weight.
A lot of people get demotivated. They just accept, I am the way I am.
That is a very wrong mindset to have. PCOS is a lifestyle disease. Start with, this is not my fault, but I'm going to do something about it.
Welcome to another episode of The Fix by Curry Fit. Today we have a very special guest with us, Nupuur Patil. She is a certified gut health specialist and a PCOS specialist. She has herself beat PCOS, lost over 30 kilos during her journey. She's here to share all the secrets with us today. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Nupuur. Today we're going to dive into a topic that affects a lot of women, PCOS. So we're here to bust some myths, clear some misconceptions, and increase awareness.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to be talking about this topic because I had PCOS at one point. There was so much misinformation, so I hope we can give a lot of information for our viewers through this podcast.
Let's dive right in. PCOS and PCOD. What is the difference between the two?
Some people think both are similar or same, but PCOS is a more serious condition that affects your endocrine system and your reproductive system. PCOD is a milder version of it, which might not affect fertility in women.
So one is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome and the other one is Polycystic Ovarian Disease.
Yes.
The ovarian syndrome is the more harsher one and affects your reproductive system as well and your endocrine system.
It comes with a host of symptoms like facial hair growth, irregular periods, and it directly affects fertility, PCOS. But PCOD, you may or may not have irregular periods. It's easy to fix PCOD, but to fix PCOS, you need to have a plan. You know, everything starts with food.
Yes.
Everything starts with gut health. So what you put inside is the output you get when it comes to disease like PCOS.
I like that you mentioned everything has to do with food. There is a very close link between insulin resistance and PCOS. Can we discuss that a little bit further?
People who have PCOS generally have insulin resistance. PCOS is of 4 types. First is the most common one is because of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is nothing but resistance to insulin, which means when you intake sugar or carbohydrates, insulin comes in to absorb all that glucose and transfer it to the cells for use or for storage. In a lot of people who have PCOS, insulin does not absorb or there's not enough insulin. This happens because of lifestyle. This happens because of the choice of food that you're making on a daily basis. The food you eat will decide whether you can get rid of PCOS or not.
How do we spot the differences between, say, PCOS or PCOD?
Women with PCOS struggle with mood swings because it directly affects your mental health as well. You have irregular periods, facial hair growth, and symptoms differ for everyone because it is unique disease for everyone, depending on what their lifestyle has been, what food they've been eating since childhood. So it's not that you're eating sugar now and you get PCOS. It has a genetic predisposition, but even with people who have a genetic predisposition to PCOS can never get PCOS. So it all depends on how you take care of yourself and what your diet is, what your lifestyle is.
So would you say this is a disease linked to your lifestyle?
Absolutely. PCOS is a lifestyle disease and it can also be fixed with lifestyle.
What effects does it have on health? Aside from, of course, you mentioned the facial hair or the, what are the other health effects that people should be aware of?
The most common is infertility and weight gain. Because I have a lot of clients that come to me for PCOS. The most common complaint is, even if I sniff the food, I gain weight. So they're not eating anything, they're not having enough calories, but they still gain weight, which tells us it's not always about calories in versus calories out. If you have insulin resistance, no matter how less you eat, you're still going to put on weight because that weight has nothing to do with food. at that point. It has to do with what's happened inside to your
It's the excess
hormones.
insulin production in your body.
Exactly. Because of insulin resistance, your body has to produce, your pancreas has to produce extra insulin.
Yes.
And this extra insulin then results into PCOS.
So the extra insulin leads to the production of androgen in your body, which is the male hormone, which leads to all of the other symptoms that come with PCOS.
So when I said there are 4 types of PCOS, first is insulin resistance. Second, that happens because of inflammation. Now, inflammation can also happen because of food. There are 6 or 7 inflammatory foods that are known and that are researched to have cause inflammation in the gut. And it all arises from there. Third is your adrenals are so stressed out because of everything going on, probably because of extra insulin. Then they produce a lot of androgens, which are the male hormones, for example, testosterone. Women in general have very less testosterone. That's why, it's so difficult for us to build muscle in the gym and we have to work extra hard as opposed to men. But excess production of adrenal or androgens result into weight gain, facial hair growth, and all of the other unpleasant side effects of PCOS. And there's also one very common term, PCOS belly. It happens because of cortisol, a stress hormone, and it happens because your cortisol is so high that your body then goes into fight or flight, and the body is reserving fat because it thinks it's in danger. You see how everything is linked to everything else?
Yes.
But the good news is everything can be resolved if you just take care of yourself, your body, your food, and it's not just calories in versus calories out.
So would you say PCOS and PCOD, would you say they are reversible?
PCOD is reversible, yes. Clinically, PCOS is not reversible, they say. But I am a living example that I've done it for myself. And some of the clients, who've been on Google and who research a lot. So they ask me the same question, that how is it possible that you've reversed PCOS? And my answer to them always is, see, PCOS has symptoms. You can get rid of all your symptoms, whether it's infertility, whether it's the cysts, or whether it's your weight gain, facial hair growth, because I had each and every one of them and I've documented my journey step by step to educate people. So right now I'm PCOS free, to be honest. My periods are regular. I've done a lot of tests that, that have told me that fertility is not an issue for me anymore. Plus, I've lost 30 kilos, so that's not an issue anymore.
Where should one start with, okay, they've recognized I have a problem, I have PCOS. A lot of people get demotivated or they just accept, okay, I am the way I am. I put on weight. I have all of these symptoms. It's because I have PCOS. Now there's nothing I can do about it. People get demotivated and just accept it as part of their fate. But if one does want to change, where would you start?
First of all, I would like whoever feels demotivated and whoever has this mindset that I am what I am now, I accept it. That is a very wrong mindset to have, because no human being is made or put on this earth to be in this situation. You can always overcome this, right? The first step to start is self-care. Treat your body so nicely. The things you put inside, the food you eat, you have to be very mindful. And it all starts with food. Your mental health and your gut health are so closely related. And your gut health is related to what you eat. If you take care of your food, if you take care of your lifestyle, of course, I'm not asking you to go to the gym and work out for 2 hours. Basic exercises like walking, a yoga class, thrice a week, twice a week, whenever you have time. I know people have a very busy lifestyle now. If you want to see results, reverse your symptoms, food and lifestyle, I think is the first place one should start with.
What would you say are the top 5 food that people should avoid if they have PCOS?
I think sugar is the most addictive substance, and I think that's what makes everything worse, not just PCOS. So if I had PCOS and if I had to reverse my PCOS again, I would definitely avoid all sorts of sugar, dairy, gluten, unhealthy fats like seed oils or refined oils, processed food, anything that comes out of a packet. I would just simply avoid it.
How long does it take for your body to adapt to these changes and to start seeing a difference?
So if you talk about gut health, because that's where everything starts, gut can start healing if you're taking care of your body and eating as your nutritionist or your meal plan is telling you to. You start noticing these changes in the first 10 to 15 days. If you have a mindset that, okay, let me just do something for a month or 2 months or 3 months, it's never going to work, because you are just making it a chore.
Yes.
Something that you're just going to do for a short period of time just to see short-term results. Same happens with even weight loss. People who don't have PCOS and then want to lose weight, some people also have the same mindset. So I think mindset is everything. And if you have PCOS, your mindset should be very different because it's not just about weight loss anymore. It's about your reproductive health. A lot of young women, girls, are now getting PCOS. The more mindful they are about food, the better. That it's not just a short-term thing and it's a lifestyle. And it's very easy to adapt these things. It's not very difficult if you just build a habit. So I think habit building can happen in 2 to 3 months, and then a person can go for the rest of their lives following this routine. So it always has to be a lifestyle and not a short-term gimmick kind of a thing.
So I think before you embark on any sort of fitness journey, first you have to change your mindset.
True.
You are not going on a diet, or you're not going on a weight loss plan, or you're not going on something. You have to make a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
Because it's not temporary. It is something that you have to do long term. You identify the problem, you find the foods that will fix your problem, and then you stay on that. You can't go back to eating McDonald's, KFC, etc. and expect.
No. A very good example of this is I'm always posting myself eating a dessert or a slice of pizza. And then when they join the plan, they're like, you're eating pizza on social media. And how is that? And why cannot we eat it? The way I explain is like when I was on my journey, I was not eating these things. I'm only doing it now because now it's my lifestyle and it always has to be about balance. So like you said, McDonald's. Of course, if I feel like eating McDonald's once a month, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not on my journey anymore. I've achieved my goal and I have maintained my goal for years now. So I know that my lifestyle is solid, my food is solid, my exercise routine is solid. And then I can go and eat these things.
Yes.
Because I know this is not a daily thing. I'm not going to do it every single day. But just for balance, probably I might go out. I might just enjoy a small piece of dark chocolate. But that has to not be a daily thing. But when I was on that journey, I was definitely not, because I know myself as a person. If I eat one, then I want the second one. So it's
You
better
start
to
binging. It's very easy to get on that.
And because your mind goes back to the old ways very quickly. I mean, anyone who wants to be on a journey where they have a bad habit, for example, sugar consumption or junk food consumption, these are all addictive substances.
Correct.
Of course, they have so many additives in there that will keep you going back for more. If you're on that journey, unless and until you have complete confidence on yourself and you have a routine set, come what may, you're doing those things, you're making sure you're eating the right food, clean food. You're making sure you take care of your mental health. You're making sure you're taking care of your body by going out for a walk or yoga. If you have these 3 things, and if you have a routine, if you've done this for more than 3 to 6 months, it's okay to eat
Yeah.
some things sometimes here and there. It's life, right? It has to be about balance.
Now let's talk about the role of exercise in PCOS reversal. How important is it to be fit and active to help with your reversal journey?
I think it's absolutely important because it's not just about going to the gym. It is also about habit building. Some exercises for PCOS are very bad because, like we spoke about cortisol before, some exercises might increase your cortisol, or exercise in general is a stress for your body. And in PCOS, the body is already stressed because of other things like insulin, your androgens, etc. And it puts a lot of pressure on your organs as well. But for exercise, even if exercise is putting a stress on your body, then it becomes worse.
So anything that increases your heart rate?
Yes. And if you want like very specific details, because everyone's wearing either a Whoop or a iWatch or a Fitbit now.
Yes.
Anytime when your heart rate increases beyond 140 or 150,
Is not advisable.
Is not advisable. Keep your heart rate below that. That is actually the fat burning heart rate. Exercises that you can do is Pilates, walking. I love walking because that's how I lost most of my weight, and yoga. Yoga also has mental health benefits, and I think it's a perfect combination if you can also lift weights maybe twice a week in combination with yoga and walking. It's like the perfect recipe for PCOS fat loss.
So the absolute no-nos are anything that will take your heart rate above 140, 145. So a HIIT class
Running.
or a
Yeah.
spin class or any of that, that'll
True.
really increase your heart rate.
Cortisol has its own cycle. You should have high cortisol in the morning and low at night. But when you do this workout, it might just shoot up, and then it might affect your melatonin cycle. And then that's how a lot of clients, when they come to me, they also say that they have insomnia when they have PCOS. So this is the reason.
Developing these habits, eating the right kind of food, developing a proper exercise routine, people should start to see their PCOS reversing.
Now, a lot of times when you go to a doctor, they will prescribe you metformin, which I am totally against. But there are also some supplements that people can take. So if someone knows that metformin is bad, because the first thing it does is vitamin B12 deficiency puts a lot of pressure on your kidney function, which is in the long term, it's very bad. We spoke about diet, we spoke about exercise, and now comes metformin. I don't like the word itself, metformin, because it is, in the long run, it's not very nice. When it comes to supplements, some supplements can, enhance your performance, make you feel better. One of them is fish oil, that's omega. A very well-known research supplement is inositol. Having it in the perfect combination should be important. So get in touch with your doctor or a nutritionist who will tell you what should be the ratio of the mayo and D-Chiro in the inositol. Most research brands have the correct ratio. So if you have that fish oil, which is omega, and magnesium, you will start seeing that your PCOS is definitely getting better. Your periods are getting better. The first sign is that your periods are becoming regular. You start losing weight. So if you do these things in combination for a long period of time or until you see results, it started working for you. Now, for everyone, the period might differ. For some people, they might start seeing changes in 1 or 2 months. For some people, it might take 5 or 6 months.
It depends on the severity of what you have.
It does. It also depends on for how long you've had it. Everyone will see results. The only thing is that you have to be consistent and patient with yourself.
It's interesting we're discussing self-love because there is a very strong link between your mental health and the way your body is reacting as well. Can we dive into that a little bit? Do you see a lot of people suffering with PCOS also going through anxiety, depression, and those kind of
Absolutely.
things?
I had depression when I had PCOS. I was diagnosed with clinical depression. I was actually prescribed antidepressants, which I did not take. I mean, I know it's not the right thing to do, but I was so heavily focused on yoga and meditation. I literally cleaned out all the bad things from my lifestyle. For me, I started seeing a result. I did not see a point to take antidepressants. I was in therapy. Before I knew it, all my problems were resolved. So there is a very close connection with anxiety, depression, or mood swings and PCOS because it is definitely directly affecting your endocrine system, which is all hormones.
All hormones, yes.
A lot of happy hormones, for example, serotonin, they're produced in the gut. Now, if your gut is not functioning at 100%, you don't have enough serotonin. Then it directly affects your mood because your gut is connected to your brain through the gut-brain axis. For example, if you eat McDonald's, your gut's going to be like, okay, I'm very upset, and it's going to send the signal to your brain. You feel the same way. You don't feel very nice. Whereas if you've had a very nourishing, healthy, home-cooked meal or something that's healthy, that has a perfect balance of carbohydrates, protein, fats, fibers, micronutrients, you feel exactly the opposite. You feel so much better. What you eat is how you feel. For mental health, I think what I did was a lot of meditation. Some people, it might be very difficult to meditate or even sit quiet for 10 minutes with themselves because we are constantly, living in this age of instant gratification and always have a phone in our hands. We're always doing something. The idea of being idle is very uncomfortable, but I think that's what you should work on. That's also a form of self-love. If you can be alone, if you can sit at a cafe alone, eat your food alone, order something, order a coffee. For most people, they can't do this. And when I realized, I was so conscious because I was always, surrounded by people. I just used to go to a cafe, order myself a coffee or something small and just have it by myself. And the first time I did that, I was actually feeling very shy and I was thinking about what other people are thinking about me. But then as and when I gained confidence, it literally changes you from within.
Yes.
You can exercise all you want, you can eat healthy, but these things which relate to self development is also, I think, a person's duty towards yourself, especially women. You're married and you have kids. Women, they run the household, they run their business, and it's like a 2 or 3 full-time jobs. So we need to be kinder to ourselves, we need to love ourselves more, and we need to put ourselves first. I always say this to my clients, because if you're a mother, you need to put yourself first, because if you don't prioritize yourself, how will you take care of your family?
Correct.
I think this should be a reminder to most women, because we forget that it's in our nature to nurture and take care.
I totally agree with that. It's very important to have something that is meant only for yourself. And I love the concept of, I do this all the time, go out, have a coffee by yourself, or have lunch by
Amazing.
yourself,
Yeah.
or go for a movie by yourself. I mean,
Why not?
why not, right? As some of the most peaceful moments that I've enjoyed has been alone, because there's so many things going around you, or going on around you, and there's so much stimuli and so many things you have to attend to, and your brain is working at 110%. Sometimes all you need to do is just shut that off and be okay with your inner thoughts, and just be
Yes.
okay with what's going on inside.
Yes.
I think a lot of women suffering from PCOS and PCOD, they have a lot of body image issues, obviously, because you have acne, facial hair, or the weight gain, many other symptoms. What advice and what suggestions would you give women who are suffering from these?
I was heavy all my life, and I was not diagnosed until it was much later. And I was bullied for that. And I used to think I'm not good enough because people are bullying me. A downside of my fat loss, which is like really unbelievable to me now, but when I lost weight, in my mind, I was still that person. I still had body image issues. And you have to work on that confidence. You have to build on that confidence and start with, this is not my fault, but I'm going to do something about it because I can. And that itself gives you so much confidence. As in, when you start seeing results with PCOS, you also need to build mental resilience. For some people, it will happen automatically, but some people need that extra push. I read a lot of books. I educate myself a lot. And like we were discussing about, like just going out and being by yourself, that itself puts you in a place where you have to be like,
Comfortable in your own body.
Comfortable in your own body. Meditation has helped me so much. I cannot emphasize enough on it. Even though I'd lost weight, I was still that person who was 90 kilos. So for me, coming out of that image, even though my body didn't look the same, but mentally I was there. Meditation has helped a lot, and then it slowly builds your confidence as well. Love yourself. Focus on yourself. Read a lot of books, because trust me, knowledge is power.
Do you have some books that you would suggest our viewers should read?
For sure. I think the book that literally changed my life was The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma and Atomic Habits. I cannot recommend them enough. I have copies at my place, and I just keep gifting them to people who are, close to me. Start with these 2 books, and then you will know which one to read.
And I think that's a very important habit to develop, which is lost now, reading books. It's very easy to go into your iPad or to go into your PC. There are some people who don't want to read, then listen to an audiobook or listen to a podcast.
That's still information, but make sure that you increase your knowledge every single day. Make it a habit. That's what these 2 books mention. How are you making your day better? The 5 a.m. Club specifically mentions being 1% better every single day. So how are you making today's day 1% better? For example, if you have PCOS, today I won't eat sugar, or today I'm just going to meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, or I am going to go out on that walk and not just binge watch Netflix, or watch reels on my phone. These are the things that make your confidence bigger, that make your self-confidence bigger, because you said that you will do it and you've done it. So imagine if you work on making every day better, and you better every day by 1%. In a year, in 365 days, you'll be 35 times better, which is such a huge jump. Like, you probably won't even recognize yourself after a year. And that's what happened to me. Every day I would just be very resilient. I had made a list. This is a to-do list, and come what may, I'm going to do this. This itself gave me so much confidence. All my body image issues were resolved. It made me who I am today.
You mentioned you have a bachelor's in biotechnology, but then you went on to do nutrition and diuretics.
Yes.
So what made you take that leap?
It is a very funny story. So I was a pilot. I was flying planes. I'm a commercial pilot license holder. I was in the Philippines. At a very young age, I was a co-pilot. So, technically I had everything I'd want when I was 20. But it took such a toll on my health because, flights are at odd hours. You don't have a schedule. My circadian rhythm was disrupted. And because of that, I think probably is the reason I got PCOS. Unfortunately or fortunately, I came back to India because my dad passed away in 2012. So I had to take care of his business and I took like a 3-month sabbatical. And in those 3 months, I joined a yoga class. I was eating at home and I realized that just being at home for 3 months, doing yoga, going on walks, eating home food, I felt so much better. So my gut had started healing. I didn't know that all back then because I had zero knowledge in nutrition. My mom was obsessed with me getting a degree because
Indian parents.
Yeah, Indian parents are obsessed. Please get a degree. So I said, okay, fine, I'll work part-time at my dad's business. And that's how I got my bachelor's in biotech. Then I did my master's in nutrition. Then I've done so many diplomas. I've done specialization in gut health, PCOS, diabetes as well. That's how I've ended up being a nutritionist.
Now you help other people with their journeys as well.
Since childhood, I was trying to lose weight. I was bullied for being heavy. I was bullied for having PCOS. And I just wanted to get rid of my weight. And I was so desperate. Like, I remember even in school or college, I used to follow like very unsustainable methods to just see the result because I was so desperate. I didn't want to be bullied anymore. I didn't want to be in that.
You just want to feel accepted.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be in that situation anymore. It was very uncomfortable for me, but I didn't know how. That experience of not having enough help and my knowledge in nutrition, of course, I think it's my mission to educate young girls. At that time, if I had someone like me, it would be so much easier. Like, don't go on that unsustainable diet which has only salads, or don't cut out carbs from your diet because it will make you eat even more. When I was, I think in my 11th or 12th, I have gone to a lot of nutritionists who would just give me 1200 calorie diets, no carbohydrates, salads, leaves is all I'm eating, soups. Okay, I would be miserable and do it for 3 months. But after 3 months, I would just wait for this diet to be over. And if I've lost like 5 or 6 kgs on this diet,
you put it back on.
I put more on. So I lost 6 kgs. And I would just gain 7 or 8 kgs more. That's when I studied nutrition. Like, there was a huge regret that, why did I put myself through so much torture? Because that's when I realized that this was all unsustainable and unnecessary. And that's when I made my program. I thought that I want to make something very groundbreaking, which will educate clients, plus give them something sustainable so that once they see results, they shouldn't A, go back, and B, it should be as easy as following, effortless, basically.
Yeah.
So I've put those things together and I've put a program together where now I have global clients. I have reversed PCOS for so many women. I have brought about a transformation for so many people, men and women. The difficult times where I was so desperate to lose weight and I wasn't seeing a result, and all those unsustainable diets I followed is somehow now coming to fruition because now I can teach my clients what not to do. A lot of people are telling you what to do, but what not to do has come from my own personal experience. That's what my goal is, to educate people on what actually works and what has long-term benefits, because even when you follow unsustainable diets, it has a direct impact on your bone density. And women after 40 start losing so much muscle. And if you followed an unsustainable diet for a very long time, osteoporosis is a very common disease that happens to women, and brittle bones. So if you take care of your body when you're young, if you don't go on those crazy diets, your body will support you in old age. And that is my goal for all my clients. In your old age, you should be independent, not dependent on anyone. Walk by yourself, do everything by yourself. Don't be dependent on anyone. This also translates into the program that I have made for my clients, not just lose these many kgs in these many months.
I think it's so important for people to recognize what you put in your body today affects you long term.
It does.
So a lot of people say, hey, I'm in my 30s. I'm going to enjoy my life now. Or I'm in my 40s. I'm going to enjoy my life now. And I'll get healthy when I need to. Later on in life, I'll start working out or I'll start a diet. Right now, I just want to enjoy my life. But you've already started doing the damage to your body.
Absolutely. And I know this from experience. I've been dealing with clients for a decade now. All the women over 40, when they come to me, they only just have one regret. Had I not done this in my 30s, I wouldn't need your help today. Experience is the biggest teacher. All the young women today who are like not eating enough or being on a 1200 calorie diet just to be skinny, it should be a learning for them that don't mess with your body, because your body is...
Extreme crash diets.
Yes, extreme crash diets, 1200 calorie diets, or some things that make you lose weight faster, probably. But in the long run, people forget that they only have one body, and this body is going to be with you till the last day of your life. If you don't preserve it now, then when?
That's
so
true.
Take care of your body, treat it like a temple. Healthy, nutritious food should be, I think, the goal for everyone.
One very important topic that we touched upon was young girls suffering
Yes.
from PCOS and suffering from body image issues. What advice would you give to the parents of those young girls? We see it all the time, mothers or parents putting some kind of pressure on their children.
Yes.
It goes two ways. One, you're beautiful, you're perfect the way you are, everything is fine. You don't need to worry about anything. So
Yeah.
the problem is not recognized. That is one. And the other extreme is you've put on so much weight.
Yes.
What are you doing? You need to get on a diet. You need to exercise. So there's two directions that this can take.
I think the dialogue you're having with your child is very important, whether it's a girl or a boy. If a young girl has PCOS, and if the dialogue the parents are putting is like, you've gained weight, you need to do something, rather than saying those things, just educate your child. It's going to make a huge difference for her. And if you say things like, you need to lose weight, you've gained weight, she's going to fall into the same cycle that I fell into, just following unsustainable things, because then weight becomes such a big
The
issue.
primary thing to solve.
That you forget what's happening inside. So it'll be like a band-aid. It's always going to be a quick fix. It's never going to come to the root cause. So educate your child, and the dialogue you're having with your child is very important, because that's where confidence issues and body image issues start. Because if your parents are saying something like this, obviously your parents have given you birth. They're your everything, right? Having a good, kind dialogue plus educating are two things parents can do today.
And get them the right kind of help.
There's so much help available now, which probably when I was a kid was not. So we are living in this age, so make the right use of it.
Thank you so much for being with us, Nupuur. We've learned a lot about PCOS today, the fact that it is reversible. I hope our viewers watch this, share this content so more people can be educated about this.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to do this, because my aim is always to educate, because education is power and information is power. So I think we've done a pretty good job with this podcast, and thank you so much for doing this. This is such a good cause, what you're doing. I'm all for women empowerment, and I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you so much, viewers, for being with us at another episode of The Fix. Stay tuned for more.